You know and I know, both of us, we've been talking off camera. No one knows why things are happening the way they are here. I have friends and relatives who want to volunteer their boats to come down here and help save their backyard, their land, because this is not the worst oil slick, oil catastrophe that's happened on the planet. It's not. But it is, for the United States of America, the worst one yet.
When you see it on TV and you hear, well, there's 20,000 people working here, you expect to come down. Is it different than, the way you found it, is it different than what you expected?
Here we are, okay, Anderson, we're going to get an oil slick that's 8 miles long, 8 miles wide, that's going to hit at this section right here. I have this boat that was ready to go. I have boats of families all over this that would jump, thousands of people would jump into this water, and they are together here. Hundreds and hundreds of them, they fish out of these waters together, and they know how to maneuver amongst each other. They could clean this place up much better than anybody else can do, and they do it for nothing. And they won't let them do it because, I don't know. I ask you the question, why won't they let them volunteer?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know that there is no answer to that. I mean, there's plenty of people who have taken courses who say they've called up BP and they're sitting around waiting. They've been waiting for weeks.
All my relatives have taken the tests, and they've taken the schooling that they had to do, and they're ready. They've been waiting for 42 days since they did that. Not gotten one call, and they have boats. They're ready to go.
I mean, do you trust BP?
Yes. I trust that they'll do the best that they can for BP.
For BP?
Yes.
Not necessarily what's best for people.
Humanity was left out the window when politics thought it needed to be on top of humanity. When, corporations thought that they had to dominate. Nothing is above humanity, and right now humanity is needed here.
I still do not understand to this day is why the U.S. government went along for weeks with this 5,000 barrel estimate when independent scientists come forward and said, look, it's way more than that, and why the U.S. government, NOAA, was saying, was agreeing with BP, saying it doesn't really matter how big the spill is. It doesn't really matter how much oil is leaking out, which just doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm going to say this once. I voted for our president, and I'm proud of it. And I think he's a great man, and he's a great family. But somewhere along the line, he's lost it. He should be here right now. They should move the White House here. They should take over hotels and bring income and people and bring forces here and start the slow process of building a community and family that's going to clean this up.
White House and the breaking news tonight, the administration now fully supporting legislation removing that $75 million cap on liability payments for oil spills. Joining me again, Billy Nungester here with me and Douglas Brinkley in Austin. Billy, so you met with Bob Dudley today, who's basically the new face of BP down here trying to front this spill. And you said to him that you needed more skimmers out there in the water, and you put in basically a lot of requests today.
We told him we put a lot of requests in for the suction equipment. We showed it works. The skimmers, we saw none out there today. He saw the miles and miles of oil, the thick stuff. He saw the stuff that was in patches, tar balls, all over the water. And we looked around and there were no skimmers. So we ordered 100 skimmers and we turned in a request to put those skimmers on shrimp boats and let them go out and start attacking this oil.
You also say there's not enough resources being deployed to pick up these birds, pick up these animals which are just out there covered in oil.
Yeah, we've asked BP to make the contractor they hired train 20 of our boat captains tomorrow.
So they have a contractor who they're paying, and only that contractor
absolutely
can go out with wildlife people to pick them up.
Right. But we need to give them a little course. Last night, one of the boat captains brought in 2 pelicans, held them in his arms, and rode while his wife drove him down there to turn these pelicans in. Mm-hmm. He said, Billy, I couldn't leave them out there. They were dying. The boats we saw coming back with pelicans and dog cages today, they put their hands up and say, Billy, get us some help. We're leaving birds out there that we should be bringing in. We shouldn't let them wait till tomorrow. They won't live. So we've got to have more people out there rescuing these animals.
It's pretty basic training, too. I can't imagine that it's that. I mean, I've seen them go out there with nets and stuff. I mean, they basically, they're grabbing birds.
Well, most of them can't fly, can't get away. The ones we're talking about, if you don't get them in right away, they're going to die. So rather have someone untrained take that bird and give it a chance of living than say we can't do it because we have professionals doing it. That's absurd.
You know, Doug, it's this bizarre situation, this entire disaster. I've never been in one in which a private company is essentially, I mean, though the U.S. government says they're the ones calling the shots, a private company is sort of the I don't know, the sieve through which all this has to go. So if you want to get more people out on the water rescuing birds, you can't just do it because there's a contractor who's being paid by BP.
Well, that's what's been so frustrating. And I think the president's starting to change that paradigm. He's making it very clear that the United States is in charge of this, that BP's going to do what we tell them to do, that they're going to pay. And I think it's been the reason is that the president keeps getting information, and everywhere he works, whether it's from Congressman Markey, information coming in, or whether it's reports in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, this company seems to have lied numerous times to the American people. Their safety record was a disaster coming into this, and the Obama administration rightfully did a couple of quick things that they probably haven't got enough credit for. The moratorium. You cannot start doing more well digging while this is going to be gushing for the next 3 or 4 months. And number two, the cleaning house at MMS. Now, once he sent Eric Holder down to New Orleans and the president made his third visit, you're starting to feel now that the administration is ready to really go after BP here. They're getting enough information to realize what this company has done to that region. And again, it's not about getting a little bit of things, people begging to BP for something. This company should be paying $1 billion to refurbish Louisiana's wetlands in the coming years. And we don't need to sue them. It doesn't have to wait for courts. The Exxon Valdez took about a decade or 15 years. That Louisiana wetlands can't wait for that. If this company wants to spend money on commercials, nobody's going to pay attention. $1 billion, people will feel that the company is feeling sorry for what they've done to this region.
Obviously, the moratorium on offshore drilling is very controversial down here. A lot of people are very concerned. The governor wrote a letter to the president concerned about the impact it's going to have on jobs. What are you hearing, though, Billy, from fishermen in terms of the payments they are getting from BP? BP said, well, look, we've sent out a second round of these $5,000 checks. But, I mean, there seems to be a disconnect between what we're hearing or what I've been hearing from fishermen who say, look, I can make $5,000 in a day or two, a good shrimping day, and it's now been 2 months, and we're, you know...
BP has said they'll get that second check this week or next week, and then they will have claims people on the ground to make everybody whole before the next monthly check is due. And we got to hold their feet to the fire. And as he was saying a minute ago, the president did say in the last visit that he doesn't care who the contractor is. If we've got equipment that can go to working, he wants it in the water working. And so I think that's why we're turning all this. We're finding equipment all over that we didn't know was available. We're putting wrecks in. We want BP to pay for it. We don't care who it works for. We want it out there getting the oil out the marsh.
Billy Nungesser. Billy didn't have time to even change his boots. He's got oil-covered boots. You've been out on the water all day, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Billy.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
coming down.
much.
Appreciate it. Doug Brinkley as well. Thank you.